Untitled Solutions podcast. Today we're going to continue on part 2 of using the RACE framework for your marketing. And this talks about how to interact with your target audience. So imagine you were planning a wedding and your goal was to host 100 guests at the venue of your choice. But you've never researched venue locations, created a guest list, or invited one person to the event. You just thought everybody would show up. Now, is that crazy or what? Well, that's how we feel when we see businesses with lofty sales and revenue goals executing tactics randomly without a solid marketing strategy or actionable steps on how to achieve their goal. Marketing suicide. Just posting on Facebook, putting up a few Google ads, blasting an email list without understanding of why you are doing it, or what success looks like, or how to measure it, or how to all of this can reach your goals, or knowing what's working and what's not. It doesn't work. You gotta have a framework. You need a framework. That's what the great marketers do. So in this series, when we're talking about RACE digital marketing planning framework, there's a construct done clear back in 2010 by Smart Insights. And it provides a much needed structure to businesses that are looking to make an actual impact in their marketing strategy. And RACE is an acronym. It stands for reach, act, also interact, convert, engage. In part 1, we talked about the planning and reach stages, discussing ways to reach more customers and increase traffic to your online properties. Here, we're going to move to the next step of RACE framework, act or interact, R-A-C-E. To understand how these stages live and breathe in your marketing strategy, let's take a look at the customer journey, because each stage of the RACE framework connects to a particular stage of the customer journey, also known as a purchase funnel. And this can help you identify those tactics that make sense to execute during that stage. Now we've got a diagram from smartinsights.com about the RACE planning system, an infographic, so to speak. And you can find it at viralsolutions.net in our blog. Or you can go to smartinsights.com. Now, during the RACE stage, your goal is to simply reach more potential customers as you go through this RACE process. But once you reach more people and drive traffic, what do you do to massage the relationship and get them another step close to becoming a customer? Your target landed on the website, now what? Your target liked your Facebook page, now what? Your target commented on the blog post, now what? This is where ACT, the next step in the RACE framework, plays a large role. And ACT refers to interaction with your target audience. It's where the conversation flows and the relationship begins to flourish. This is the time to show your prospects your value proposition and encourage them to interact with you, give you their time, and take the next step in the customer journey. Now, what does that step look like? Well, it's different based upon what your business plan is, but here's some ideas. Maybe they register for a webinar. Maybe they fill out a contact form and give you information. Maybe they chat with you on your intercom or drift portfolio. Maybe they request more information on your products in writing, in email, or over the phone. Maybe they sign up for a free report. Maybe they just subscribe to your list and sit back and read. Maybe they request a quote. To summarize the act stage, you focus on how you can interact with your target audience to encourage them to take the next step. Become more than just a basic lead. It's also worth noting that at this stage, you should know exactly what your top-level marketing strategy goals are. And if you don't, then you should go back to listen to part 1 in this series, where we talk about that critical planning stage of the RACE framework. Now, on to interact. It's an effective method. It's a key component to engaging your target audience. Because how do you dominate the interact stage of the RACE framework? You focus on lead generation and increased encouragement. Keep people on your online properties and prevent them from bouncing so they can interact with your brand and content. This will increase your chances of acquiring leads, moving prospects throughout your funnel. What methods or what marketing tactics should you be using? To figure this out, we've got some questions to ask you, because that's how you should choose marketing tactics. We want to know, how do you engage or interact with site visitors so they hang out longer and learn more about your brand? How do you do that? How do you envision that taking place? How can you provide value to those website visitors? Remember, they're there digging around anonymously. How do you make them feel your presence and get acquainted with your brand? How can you get their attention? Remember, they're on your website. You don't have a lot of opportunity to text them or call them or chat with them unless they reach out to you. How can you increase engagement from your website to social profiles and back again and get those people to interact with your content or with other users or other customers of yours? Those are the questions you need to answer. You should know them off the top of your head. So let's talk about some ideas or common business practices that might help you leverage this act stage. Content marketing is a great place. Content marketing, though, is a really broad topic. And we could write thousands of pages and do thousands of podcast recordings on it and still not scratch the surface. But we're going to do our best to condense it, since content is vital to executing the ACT stage of the RACE framework successfully. So here's some key components of successful content marketing campaigns to keep visitors engaged and moving closer to becoming leads. What about blogging? That's a type of content. It's a high-level content, and it speaks directly to your target audience, just like a podcast. It helps solve problems because it answers questions and it educates. And it helps them achieve their goal. And all of that together is a winning formula for lead generation. And one of the best methods to accomplish this is high-value blogging, We're not talking about throwing together a 300 to 600 word article and have it look like everything else on the web. We're talking about highly targeted, something that matches your buyer persona, your avatar. It's compelling. It's emotionally stirring. It's very transparent. It's very educational. It's thoroughly detailed. That content needs to be good enough to elicit a response. It'll help you generate leads. How do you write amazing content that keeps people engaged? Well, you can find out at a site called ProBlogger.com how to write great blog content. You can research a brand called StoryBrand, and they teach storytelling. And you can reach out to Viral Solutions blog, and we've got tons of stuff on it. So how do you generate leads with your blog content? Well, you got to upgrade your content. Optinmonster.com has 30 content upgrade ideas to help you grow an email list. You do lead offers, which are targeted free offers like an ebook, a training, a white paper, a course, a video series. You do invitations to a seminar, invitations to free trials, demonstrations. In these blogs, you should be able to solve your audience's problems, and you got to know what their problems are and speak to them about their problem, much like this does. And you have to give enough value so that the reader is compelled to stay engaged and potentially take the next step. And what is that next step? Whatever goal you've defined for this stage of your marketing strategy, like contact you, like become a subscriber, like read your stuff, like engage with you on social media. What is that goal in that stage? Rather than blogs, what about high converting landing pages and sales pages, video sales letters, things like that? The purpose of the landing page is to get users to take one action. Now, here's an example of a landing page from Hubspot that you can find. It's at offers.hubspot.com, and it's called A Guide to User-Generated Content for E-commerce. That's really good stuff. Now, similar to landing pages or blogs, your web copy has to speak directly to your target audience. Make them feel enthused, or like, hey, I found the right people. It has to talk to them, not all about, hey, look at me, look at me, look at me. Because high converting interactive website copy follows these pro tips. It focuses on benefits, not features. It's not too wordy. You want to keep your words as few as possible, but it's got a lot of bullet points, a lot of bold highlighted text, a lot of emotion. It might include reviews and testimonials. It might add clear calls to action, so you tell the visitor what you want them to do. You might use colors that grab attention, but you don't want to have it too full of confusing language or industry jargon. And you don't want to use a lot of long blocks of text, big paragraphs, run-on sentences. People tend to skim. They don't tend to just read. You want to communicate your value. Put that front and center. Why are you different from your competitor? Then get to talking about your prospect. We said that just a moment ago. Your website copy should not tout your amazingness. It should focus on your audience's needs and how you can help them. But what if you're not a copywriter? You can hire one. You can do them on just one project. There's experts out there. We have them at Viral Solutions. Copywriting is an art form, and it takes some time to understand how to do it effectively. There's some great resources on high converting landing pages. Go to Hubspot, blog.hubspot.com/marketing, or conversion driven website copy article at leadchat.com/blog. Let's move on to another one. Let's talk about video marketing. What can you share versus on a video that'll get people talking? Well, a lot. 83% of businesses use video as a marketing tool. That's up from 78% in 2018. So there's 3 types of videos that will help you interact with your target audience. Educational content that showcases your brand as an industry leader and advisor. It's kind of a how-to or solve audience problems. There's behind-the-scenes video. People love to feel connected to the brands they buy from. They like to humanize their brand with behind-the-scenes content showcasing your team, events, workflow, and company gatherings. There's an interview style. That's where you have team members or company leaders or even industry influencers to become a thought leader in your industry. This is a great type of video, an interview video. So when you're doing video marketing, do all 3 types. Change them up based upon what you're presenting. Educational, behind the scenes, interview, hands-on. What about engaging with people on social media? So you're funneling people to your social profiles, but are they engaging with your content? Is your content helping you interact with your target audience? If you're not seeing any shares, any comments, interaction, or you feel those metrics are low, it's probably time for an overhaul. If you're just starting out with your social media, not likely in 2019, but if you need a revamp, here's some things to take a look at. First, you need to define your social platforms. And at Viral Solutions, we're not a believer that you just go everywhere. You go where your buyer persona hangs out. And you do 2 or 3 social platforms that you can handle, you can man, you can do really well, and that you can do day in, day out, year after year after year without skipping a beat. Because you don't need to be everywhere. You need to interact on the platforms where your prospects hangs out and just let the rest go. I don't care if somebody else is successful. Go where your person hangs out. Now, if you got an engagement problem, that's a different story. Because an engagement problem is usually caused by having unengaging social content. Social sharing has little to do with your brand and more to do with capturing your audience's attention and encouraging conversations. Use compelling imagery to evoke a response and get people excited about your content. Leverage user-generated content. What's user-generated content? Well, you can find that out at viralsolutions.net just by searching for it. This is where you get users and customers involved. Use contests, promotions, and limited time offers to encourage users to post about your brand. Then repost their content on your feed to increase engagement. Use high quality imagery, especially if you're on Instagram, because that's a very image-based platform that needs lots of visuals. Because in a sea of millions of competitors, your imagery has to stand out. Consider the use of hashtags. That's like a way of indexing. And stop selling. On social media, that's not a place to pitch. Social media focuses on building relationships. The beauty of social media is that it helps connect people to your brand. So when it comes time to sell, users are willing and ready to open their wallets because they already feel emotionally tied to you and your brand. 80% of your content on social media should be non-salesy, high engaging, emotion-laden information. Now, we talked a lot about this ACT stage. And you know at Viral Solutions we talk a lot about metrics, key performance indicators, what to track. In part 1 of our Race Digital Framework series was about executing tactics without KPIs. We said that is pointless, and that's correct. Don't get addicted to the high of starting a new tactic. Who hasn't done it? It's a likely scenario, right? I mean, why not just keep putting more money towards what's working? I mean, what if tactic number 1 was the one that was bringing in the revenue, but tactics 2 through 5 were complete duds? You gonna keep going with those? I don't think so. I know you're smarter than that. Because a lot of planning and a lot of performance tracking is what you really need. Create engaging content, create engaging copy, good videos, good graphics, consistent posting socially on limited platforms that get good results, then measure. Because that's the only way you know when to course correct. Gut feel is not a KPI. Here's some examples of good KPIs to track in the ACT or interact stage of the RACE framework. How many leads? Daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly? Comparison period over period? What percentage of those leads converted? How about your bounce rate? Number of people that just hit it and left. How about time on site? Or the number of pages per visitor frequented before they bounced out? How about in social engagement, the number of comments, the number of shares? Maybe you have a unique goal. That would help you get a Kpi dashboard will be unique to you. It includes things such as webinar registrations, form completions, product views, member registrations, newsletter signups. Whatever is tied to achieving your organization's unique goals. In part 1, we showed an image from Smart Insights, and it's their race chart. And it's columnized by volume and quality and value and how to measure all this stuff. I'd suggest you find it either at smartinsights.com or you can find it at viralsolutions.net, where you'll look in our blog for the RACE framework part 2. Because in the act stage, determining the number of leads points to volume. And the lead conversion percentage helps you define the quality of those visitors. Then determining the goal value per visit identifies the value of each new visitor. Goal tracking is best calculated using a tool like Google Analytics. And you can go to monsterinsights.com to learn a lot about Google Analytics and tracking. So interact with your target audience. This is what you need to know to get more leads and get them higher quality. So today we've talked about the second stage of the RACE framework called ACT, or how to interact with your target audience, so that you can move them along in their purchase funnel. Interacting involves utilizing practices such as high-value content, compelling blogs, high-converting landing pages, website copy, along with social media engagement. In the next part of this series, part 3, we're going to talk about the third and arguably the most exciting stage of the RACE framework, convert. We're going to teach you how to convert your visitors and leads and to help you achieve your marketing goals. If you need help with any of this, contact us at viralsolutions.net, or you can call us at 888-816-1222. We're also on social media. So touch base with us, and let's go crunch some numbers and hit some good goals. Thank you.